Well, hey, Refuge. This is Dermot in a barn right now. It's actually, I think it's pretty safe here, and there'll be no wind interference and so forth. But wanted to record a little message and chatting with Mark. I miss you guys, man. It's odd times we have right now, and thankfully I get to come to work. I work out at a farm. Horses do not know that there's a pandemic. They also don't know it's Christmas and any holiday. When they're hungry, they eat. So I have to be here, which I'm very, very blessed, because my routine has not been greatly changed like many people. Of course, still dealing with it, but it's pretty cool that I get to come here and get off the grid for a bit and maintain a relative sense of normalcy. But what I wanted to share with you was just some things that have been rolling around. And in some ways, I felt a bit guilty because I haven't had a real sense of crisis. I know a lot of people are close to me, a lot of people are, and had a lot of time to kind of think and what I could maybe share, or where I can help. But in that sense of peace, and digging into it a little deeper, what I found is that there's an incredible sense of irony for us at Refuge and what's going on in the world. It's this idea of shelter at home, shelter in place, shelter in a safe place, right? Well, in all the years and recovery, working in it and all that stuff, what Refuge is a safe place. A place that you can get to come and deal with what's going on in the outside world, and it's it's protected somewhat. And then we're being asked to stay at home, stay in the one place you can control, the one place that it's safe to do. And I just realized, excuse me, in this safe place that we're asked to stay, man, it's wrecking people's lives. Wrecking people's lives, of course it is. You don't get to do what you want to do. It's like, okay, anything outside right now is dangerous to you. You won't even see it coming. It's not obvious. You could be just being friendly. You could be just being nice and shaking someone's hand because you missed them, and can pick up something that can kill you. And one of the challenges has always been in working in recovery, is working with families and loved ones of those with problems, and they just don't understand it. They just don't understand why somebody won't do something that's good for them. Well, I think that a lot of people have had their will taken away. The beaches never look so good. Walmart's never looked so good. Going to sit down at a restaurant. All these things that we have a right to. Yeah, we can still do them to a point, obviously the ones that aren't available, but we want to. And that's what we're struggling with, is like, if you stay home and you stay in your environment, you're not going to expose yourself to the obvious dangers, and then some of the dangers you wouldn't even realize how this thing gets transmitted around. Man, that's what we do in recovery. That's why Refuge exists, is that the idea, the concept of a safe place. And really what we're talking about, being faith-based, is that your only safe place is with God. I've had this great sense of peace and didn't really know why. I had to like work with it a little bit and realizing, well, look, man, my life, what I realize is the only place that I'm truly safe is in my relationship with God. And there's a lot of things outside of that seem like they're okay to do. The obvious is the obvious, going out and using, going out and drinking, whatever that is. But a lot of times it's stuff you don't see coming, you wouldn't anticipate. It's where faith comes in. I trust your will, God. I trust that believing in what you say will protect me. You know, and faith doesn't make things easy, it makes things possible. Staying at home now, for regular people, it doesn't make things easy. But if you don't contract this thing, you don't get sick, you don't potentially die, it makes it possible to return to some things, to pick back up your life in a more healthy way, hopefully, right? And I think it mirrors so much of what we get to do and what I've done for many years now, and I think that's why I didn't feel a huge shift in my mentality, because it's what I rely on a regular basis. I don't, you know, I don't trust in I don't get life from the things outside of God. I use them and they're in my life, but I stay sheltered in my faith. And all this temptation on the outside, whether it be just running to the store, you know, going to see friends, doing something, doesn't seem like it'll harm me, but I have to trust that I stay in that safe place, and it allows me to live a much better life. So even for those of you, we've got a lot of time in our hands, and for those of you who have good enough relationships maybe with some people, that you could delve into that with them. I've had some great conversations with people along these lines, and saying maybe understand a little bit when you look at somebody that you know that is, why do you do the things you do? It's killing you. You know, you could die from this. It's just insane. Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Why do you desperately need to go to the beach or go to do these things that you do? It could kill you. Yeah, but you want to. So it's a will thing and a trust thing and a faith thing, and isn't that what we're asked to do at Refuge? So anyway, it was just a thought that I had, and it gives me a lot of comfort that I was ready for this thing without preparing for it. And doesn't make it easier, you know, I still have to deal with it, but it certainly gives me a affirmation of how important it is that in times of trouble, in times of crisis, and as a crisis brought me to God, I think crisis has to bring you to God, and that usually just means that the idols you had, they're not inherently bad things, but they're not dependable. And if you depend on them and you don't have them anymore, it makes sense that you're going to be really struggling with a safe place to be, that was your safe place. So, you know, we need each other, I think, is one of the great things that we've seen. We miss the community. We're starting, like with any recovery program, it goes through this process of going, okay, well, I missed this, and I missed this, and I missed this. But after a while, you start realizing what's important that you miss, and ultimately what you're grateful for. I'm certainly grateful to even know that Refuge is there, even know that, you know, there's other people right now struggling in a way that they are struggling in the right way. You know, it's always going to be a struggle. The world's struggling right now, but it's doing it in the right way. It's having faith in that there's something that we need to do that kind of counteracts a lot of what we want to do, but whatever way we want to look at it, it doesn't affect the truth. So great line, a great truth. It was, truth is unbearable. You know, it's absolutely vital, but truth is unbearable without love. You just can't even accept it, so it has to be loving. So maybe the message here is maybe we can all understand a little better about what we go through, that it is an inevitable part of life. Some of us have to deal with it. I've had to deal with it on a much more daily basis, but everybody can certainly appreciate and understand that we absolutely need to have a safe place to protect us from the environment that we live in, especially when it gets dangerous. And keeping that safe place in your heart, keeping that safe place in your faith is what we do in refuge. It's not much different than keeping a safe place at your home, so you can be okay to live the life that you're here to live. And right now it's just looks different. So reach out, man. We're doing things at Refuge, small group stuff like that. They're available, you know, they're online. They look a little bit different, but you know, can't remember who said it, but in the end, all that exists is change. So make sure that you're at least have one thing that you know is constant, and I believe that's the Lord. So anyway, listen, I'm praying for you. I miss you guys. Going to feed some horses, and just be thankful today that I can record this message. Sunny day, it's the weekend. Can't do a whole lot, but we can live. So, all right, God bless.